ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between and beyond. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the podcast live stream. Um, this has been sort of a bumpy week for me. I think it's been good though. I think balance is important, but the week before, and you can, as evident from my podcast that I can't even listen to because I'm so the opposite way. I was feeling really confident last week and super high on myself, a little full of myself, and this week I'm over myself, and that's a weird feeling, but it's also kind of nice. Um, I just I really focusing on being great is kind of pretty difficult to maintain, and I'm glad that I have those moments where I do feel like really excited about my art and feel like what I'm doing is great and important. But I think ultimately, like, I just want to be able to find fulfillment in not any of that. Like, and I've achieved some of that. I've tasted some of that at times over the past few years of just doing things for myself that nobody sees and that, you know, is just for me. And finding peace and joy and happiness in that. And I just want to make that a practice. I think that something that I miss a lot of the times is how so much of the work that I want to do in my life, in terms of just internal work, spiritual work, takes decades, and I'll never be able to just jump right into it and have it all and have everything that I want internally, just like be fulfilled and be able to help people in the and this sounds super negative. But in the ways that I'm ultimately totally capable of is what I'm trying to say. Without years and years of work, and relative to my life and the totality of my life, I haven't been, working on myself internally for that long. It's been like a few years where I've really like taken a hard look at myself and like tried to build habits that I'm still struggling to maintain. Um and that's kind of what this podcast is about. I'm just trying to do just have habits. Just have habits and things to look back on and try and be consistent so I can be proud of myself. Um but yeah, I've been the past week I've been sort of less. I haven't produced anything new. I just have been working on what I've been working on and what I plan on releasing, just like this super short beat that I do like. I listened to it today and I do like it. And but yeah, it's finishing stuff is interesting because it goes from this point of like creation, which is super exciting and enthralling, and like a full on like super stimulus, like full body jolt reaction, which is awesome. And then it gets old. It gets old through the editing process and like thinking about putting it out and like a fucking cover art, like all that kind of takes the magic out of it. But I think that that's necessary because people always talk about like creating and releasing stuff without like expectation, and I think it's sort of built into finishing things, like working on something and editing something and finishing something, that you lose some of your attachment to it. I've lost some of my attachment to it, and I thought that was a bad thing, and I thought that that was a sign that what I was making wasn't as good as I thought it was initially. But I'm now taking it as this is just a sign of the process, and this is letting me know the fact that I'm burnt out on this, or like, you know, feel like I can do better, right? That's the way to that's the new way to frame it, is like I feel like I can do better. I feel like I can do better. I feel like I can do something even better. And But that doesn't mean I shouldn't release what I already have. That means to finish what I'm doing, give it the respect that it deserves, put it out there, because if it gave me so much joy, if it gives one person 1% of the joy it gave me, that's pretty fucking cool. And then just keep it pushing and keep on trying to do greater things. Um but yeah, I've been sick of my demos, sick of the beats that I'm working on, trying to start some new shit, just not really um feeling super connected to anything new that I've made, but I've had a pretty good time. I've been really impressed with myself at how I've been able to like edit this beat into something that I really like and shape it into that. Um, this is the first time that I felt like super involved in like the editing process, like just listening to it and just following my instincts of like the parts that need my attention, and that's like its own thing. It's totally different than raw creation, but it's still playing on that like intuition, and it's been fun. It has been fun. I've been like enjoying myself doing that. Um but yeah, sort of getting nervous for this studio time that I have coming up, and yeah, I'm very scared to finish this song that I really loved and that I still love, but just I'm like worried that it's not going to sound good. That I'm going to spend this money, put this time and effort into it, and like build it up. I've built this thing up and just like it's not going to sound good. Um but I'm trying to remember that I have practiced hard work before, and I have practiced showing up in, in for my job, for other people in my life, for myself, and that this is just really no different. My job was throwing some new things at me for the first time, learned some new things, had some new responsibilities, and I was terrified to do those things. Like I couldn't sleep the night before. Um and it's sort of like a similar feeling where it's just like I feel like I'm going to fuck up. I feel like I'm going to fuck up this studio time. I feel like I'm going to go in there, I'm going to record this, and it's going to sound like fucking shit, or it's just not going to sound like how I imagine, and that's completely out of my control. You know, all I can do is really give it my best performance, but how it turns out ultimately is out of my control, and that is so fucking frustrating. That is so fucking frustrating. And I'm struggling with that. And I'm struggling with that. Because really, this is just the start. This is just the start. This song honestly doesn't even exist yet. The demo does. Like, I still. Me going to this studio and recording it is going to be its true conception. And there's going to be fucking editing and all of that shit and re recording. And I'm just going to get burnt out on it again and again and again. But that's just sort of what's necessary in order to get a deliverable product, which is paramount to me at this point. Sort of dropped off with TikTok and stuff, but I've been staying consistent. I've been staying true to my word with my other shit. I am ready to post this month, this next month, and I have been doing this podcast every week, and I have been journaling. Um, I've been for the past like year, I've been reading a lot, and that's been a huge inspiration of mine. Um, and I've wanted to participate in NaNoWriMo, which is where you write a novel in a month, and I'm so scared of that because like really that starts like tomorrow, and I've told myself that like I'm practicing writing so that I can do that, and reading so that I can try that. And I think that for me, um, the fiction that has meant the most to me has been like short stories and novellas. So I would want to try and write something like that. So not too big of a commitment. You know, a draft of a novella is really like fucking nothing. But that'd be like 2 pages of me writing every day. Um, So yeah, I'm also thinking about that. I don't want to let myself down or feel like I missed out or like look back and be like, "Fuck, what was I doing that was more important than this? Why didn't I just lock in and do this?" But yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll get an update. I'm not gonna, you know, what's most important to me is journaling, doing this, and releasing music. Everything else is just to fuel those things. Literally every that's how I want to live my life, is that everything else is to do better at those things, which I think makes sense. But haven't really been, still trying to figure out where TikTok fits in with that. Still trying to figure out yeah, anything beyond that. And part of me feels like I'm like this isn't enough, but also haven't even been consistent for a long enough period of time to know if this is enough to push the needle, to be, releasing something every month. Like, do I need to be doing more? Do I need? But I am doing more because I'm going to the studio. Um, so yeah, a lot of self doubt, a lot of self doubt this week, and I guess it's just kind of what I was due for. The seasons are changing. It's about to start like pretty much winter where I live, and just trying to really prepare for that. It's like the summer fun is sort of over, and I just got to keep on going and seeing what the fuck is going to be on the other side of this. I have like this ideal of myself in my head, and sometimes it's like I don't know how much of that is like I should take seriously and how much of it like serves me better as an ideal. Like my perfect version of myself, it's like I don't have a phone, I like a smartphone. I'm just like calling people and I'm like doing all this stuff in like I don't know, it sounds pretty nice, but I don't know. I don't know. That's just a thought. Is that I have like a version of myself in my head that I spend a lot of time thinking about, and it's like, but it's really scary to take those steps to become the person that we want to be. And it's also like, is this? Yeah, I don't know. Is this something that I can should just draw from, and that isn't super important that I actually like do all these specific things? Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's just a stray thought. Obviously, none of this is planned, as you can tell. I would like at some point to have like outline of this, um, so I'm not completely flopping around. But I think it's, I think it's pretty chill, and I feel like I'm just trying to share what I learned between last week and now, which is yeah, pretty much just humility is important, and it's just a part of the process. The process is a lot bigger and more involved than anything on the internet will tell you. The process of fucking physical health, having like a healthy body, like in a way that lets you be healthy for your whole life, or like mental health and spiritual health. There's all these 15-second videos telling you how to do that, and guess what? It doesn't take 15 seconds. It takes like 25 years, which is so bogus. I'm realizing that life moves so fast that there's not even time to process anything. And that the world doesn't really process anything. It just does shit and then just keeps it pushing. Like, for me, maybe it's just the time of my life when this happened, but like 2020 and all that pandemic shit felt so huge, and it felt like I like I'm just flabbergasted that just as a that the world didn't just pause and go, what the fuck just happened, and really like try to digest that. And you know I've just seen that doesn't really happen. People just keep on pushing forward, and whatever happens after that just happens after that, and there's kind of no time. There's a lot of urgency, and yeah, so I really want, so it's like, Yeah, it's there's so many things that I'm trying to process in my life, like about myself and like my inner world, and it's like I don't even know if there's enough time to do that or if that's fucking possible. Like I think you could spend for each like aspect of myself that I'm contemplating, I think you can spend a fucking lifetime contemplating it and get different answers too. Don't think there's one right answer, and I don't think that it's possible to really get to the bottom of things a lot of the time. Most of the time, it's just kind of is what it is. And then things are put into context. Ooh, this is brutal. Things are just put into context at like the end of your life. Like, it's sort of like that finishing thing. Like, it just doesn't really make sense until it's completely finished. And that's one of those things that sounds really depressing, but has actually helped me. Um, because I've just been thinking like, yeah, maybe I'm falling short in some aspects, or I'm not like this perfect version of myself that I wish I was. But like the fact that I want to be better and do better, and like try and make efforts towards that, and even the mistakes that I'm making and have made, like in the context of a life, they're not that big of a deal. It's so crazy, just how little I just don't really try to judge other people's lives, and all I do is judge my own. Literally, all I do is judge my own. And that's fucking crazy. It's fucking crazy. I think it just is one of those things that you just only can age out of. And I am looking forward to the time of my life when I am not doing that. Because I feel constantly judged, constantly. And it's not true. It just simply isn't. I want to keep saying obviously, but it's not obvious because I keep on fucking. That's how I live and that's how I feel. Um, yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult being a person. I guess it's just difficult being a person. It's difficult being consistent. It's difficult knowing what you want and then being or becoming that. And yeah, it's very interesting when I think about my life, just that I have these aspirations that mean a lot to me, but are very different and incongruent. Not necessarily incongruent, but just with larger culture or societal expectations. And that's something that I fought against for a while, for a long time, but I'm just in a phase of submission with that where it's like I don't give a fuck about a career. To be honest, I couldn't care less about a career and having, you know, like a job that's like a career. I just don't care. I rather make sure that my relationships are tight and good, and I rather make art and do that. And that is confusing and hard to admit, and other people see things completely different than I do, and that makes it even harder to admit and accept. But I'm trying. I'm trying with this, I'm trying with the other shit I'm doing, blah 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 blah. I just yeah. Another thing that's so stupid is thinking that like loneliness is like unique, or that I'm lonelier than other people, or that anyone's lonely. I think that's such fucking bullshit. That's like leftover teenage angst bullshit that just doesn't make sense. Like I'm in my head all the time thinking that everyone's judging me, and like imagining that everyone else is so fulfilled and complete, and it's like no, everyone is just as lonely as I am in a lot of the same ways. And yeah, it's like I one wishes that it would be easy to realize that and have, it's a wonderful life moment where you can just connect with the world completely unfiltered, authentic. I just like see people. I just wish that you could like see people's souls and like communicate what would be a lifetime of word explaining just like instantly, because it communication is so complicated and flawed, and it's difficult to pay attention to anything. It's difficult to, you know, it's just communication is so difficult and flawed, as evident by me fucking stumbling over my words right now. But this is sort of my attempt to communicate over the course of my lifetime. Who knows how long I'll do this, but I'm going to try and do it for a while. Um, because there's just so much you just can't. There's just never enough time to say. And that's why it's really important to find this type of time. Yeah, the perfect version of myself. I'm like meditating. I don't have a phone. Maybe I'm sober or just like all this shit. And I'm like active in like a music community. And that all sounds pretty nice. But then I'm like, oh shit, I gotta get rid of my fucking phone. Or I gotta stop smoking. Or I gotta whatever. That's so scary. It's so scary. It's so scary because I'm scared of being judged. But I'm scared of being judged because I assume that other people are at a place where they when I'm worrying about judgment, it's like there's some phrase for this, but like or saying or quote, but it's like I'm totally giving them full permission and full um superiority to myself. And it's just crazy. It's craziness. I spent I have wasted I don't want to say waste. I don't think anything is a waste of time, to be honest. Not inherently a waste of time. But I'm just realizing I spend so much time just like replaying interactions and just obsessing over them. Like I'll be socially anxious, um, and then I interact, and then I obsessively replay that or think like, oh my god, was that bad? Was that weird? Was that this? Was that that? Was that oh my god? Baba. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, I just want to like, it's I've been trying to do more stuff out in the world. It's so hard. It makes me want to cry. It is so I'm such a scared person, and it is so much more comfortable to be in bed on my phone. And that's by design, I guess, but that doesn't even matter because ultimately it's me making the decision to do that instead of live a life. Yeah, like also my ideal self is like I have something every night of the week. Like I'm writing or I'm performing or doing open mics or like seeing a friend or like yeah, just every just like damn near never home. That's like my perfect life. It's just like all these things happening. It's like you sort of decorate your life with events, and unfortunately the majority of the formative experiences in my adult years have been online. Isn't that crazy? Online. Obviously, huge stuff has happened. The stuff that's been really big happened in person, but a lot of it has been online. So I'm in my room, listening to something or watching something, and maybe that's again, maybe that's not inherently bad, but it's just like the biggest things that have hit me have been in person, and I want more of that. I want more like in person fulfillment. And yeah, It's scary. Life is scary. It's hard out there. It is tough. And fucking no one tells you how tough it's gonna be, how lonely it's gonna be, and how lonely everyone else is, and how everyone wants to connect and feel loved, but no one really knows how because we're all working and fucking trying to. Ah, it's crazy. I am a judgmental person, unfortunately. It's just a trait that I've inherited, and it's one of my curses. It's one of my curses, but like every curse, it's also a blessing. Cause yeah, I'm super critical of my own art, and that makes me make great art because I'm criticizing myself for the tiniest details that no one else is gonna hear, and that makes me. I'm so gifted at finding what I don't like the most, and that makes me make great stuff. Um, I don't know if I talked about this last time, but it's like another. I feel like going monk mode would be so sick too, because what I've found recently is that after years of frying my brain on the internet, it's like I only respond to things. It's like the internet is a super stimuli, and I can only respond and be engaged with things that are of that level. And so I feel like when, since that's like my default, is like thousands of videos every day that are making me laugh or cry or feel scared, when that's like your nervous system's default, and then when you take that away and you put that into creating, like you can create big shit. Like I I can't believe the stuff that I've made or just um and yeah, it's again just one of those things where it's a blessing and a curse where it's like yeah, my brain is fried and but I think it makes like in order to hold my attention, I need to make something that is different as fuck. I need something that's different as fuck. If I'm going to make it and spend time doing it, it needs to be different as fuck. And that keeps me original. But then, yeah, that's just something else. That's just something else I'm thinking. Doesn't does it connect to anything else? I don't know. But yeah, creation is cool. This is creative, I guess. Um, I'm trying to just keep it going, just keep it going. But it's weird. Being a person's weird. Being a person is challenging. I yeah, I feel insecure all of a sudden. It's so interesting how things just ebb and flow. How I felt confident, you know, just had like a surge of confidence for a second over this, and then immediately just dropped. So it's just crazy that nothing lasts forever. That you know, even if these songs are what I initially thought they were, and like hits or life changing, only changes your life for so long, or it doesn't change who you are. Only you can change who you are, and that takes a lot of work and a lot of dedication, and it takes help. It takes a village. It doesn't just take a village to raise a baby. It takes a village to fucking raise a human being, to be a fucking human being. So I'm gonna keep doing shit like this and try and find my village. Um, yeah, I feel pretty insecure right now. I don't want to put this out. That's the thought that I'm having, but I have to, and I'm gonna because if I can't put this out, what the fuck? How the fuck am I? Also, am I gonna do these big things that I want? So, with that being said, um, yeah, just keep on trying. That's my only advice is just keep on trying. Keep on trying, keep on taking care of your what you can, your immediate space around you, and try your best. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe, comment. I will see you next week.
Bye.